Iraq's second city has seen times of glory, times of decline, and more recently the horrific occupation of ISIS. But now it's free again and rebuilding. This is Mosul.
Mosul, the second largest city of Iraq, lies just 60 kilometres west of the Kurdish capital Erbil. But the cities have experienced entirely different trajectories over recent years. These are the new suburbs of Erbil, quite a contrast to the suburbs of Mosul. The terrorist group ISIS, or Daesh, seized control of Mosul in June 2014. Islamic State's leader gave a famous sermon in the great mosque of Al-Nouri, declaring a caliphate. In a city that was already suffering severe economic hardship, the local population waited to see what would unfold, as Belen explains.
So when ISIS they arrived first at Mosul, the reception from the people, it was mixed, because first of all they are Islam, so most of people here are Muslim, kind of like they welcomed, but they didn't know they are so brutal. And plus they provided a bit of job. They paid the locals. Overnight they took over all the banks and they became the richest terrorist organization. So they paid around $800 for local and a couple of $1,000 for the expats. So people kind of like welcomed them, you know. But then after a few days and weeks, they started, you know, executing people and cutting hands, legs. Then people started to wake up and what kind of, you know, people they are.
The operation to liberate Mosul began in October 2016 and involved more than 100,000 Iraqi troops and police, as well as Shia and Sunni militias. The ground offensive from the east was supported by US-led coalition airstrikes, and eastern Mosul was liberated in November 2017. Capturing the old centre of the city on the west bank of the Tigris was considerably harder. Through the fighting and the shelling, the UN reports that 5,000 buildings in the old city were damaged, many destroyed completely. Official reports say that ISIS detonated explosives inside the great mosque of Al-Nouri, the symbol of the city. The shelling also destroyed the library of Mosul's university, which housed many ancient books, including an 8th century Quran. In July 2017, Iraq's Prime Minister declared that Mosul had been completely liberated. However, the city then had to be cleared of explosives and landmines before the slow process of rebuilding could begin.
Perhaps the greatest crime committed by ISIS to the heritage of Mosul was the destruction of the Al-Nouri Mosque.
So this is Al-Nouri Mosque, Jama Al-Nouri Kabir. They used to call it the spirit of Mosul. It was built in the 11th and 12th century. It's one of the, two of the most beautiful and the oldest mosque in the whole Iraq. Al-Nouri Mosque and the mosque in Ahmadiyya. This is one of them. They have the same design, the same shape. And it has a very old minaret. It was bombed on 2017 by ISIS. Now it's under reconstruction and renovation by UNESCO.
And when do you think it'll be completed?
Hopefully in a few years they get to finish the mosque, if nothing happens, because we don't know when the war will start. And yeah. Baby.
Scorching hot, absolutely delicious.
Historically, Mosul was a city where Arabs, Christians and Jews coexisted peacefully. It was also a city known throughout the region for its arts and crafts, particularly metalwork.
It's great to see that adjacent to the destruction of the Al-Nouri Mosque, Mosul's creative and artistic heritage is coming back to life.
This is Al-Tahera church. Was built in the 7th century. It's one of the oldest churches in the whole Iraq, and it was really important for the Christians in Nineveh. It was bombed and destroyed during the Battle of Mosul when ISIS was here, when ISIS controlled Mosul. And as you see now, it's under reconstruction by UNESCO.
For the people of Mosul, even some of the simple pleasures of life could find them in serious trouble in the ISIS occupation.
We are in one of the oldest streets. A few Christians used to live here. We are right next to Al-Tahir church. That second floor you see was a prison when ISIS was here. As you may see, the windows are blocked, are covered. I met a guy one day here. They used to call him Abu Noor. He said he was smoking while I was talking to him. He was like, I got caught smoking by ISIS, and they put me in prison in here for 3 days only for smoking. And he showed me a few scars on his body that he got tortured in the prison back then.
Most of the old bazaar emerged from the battles intact, as did the famous fish market, harvesting the catch from the Tigris, which flows alongside it on its way south to Baghdad, Basra and the Gulf. However, after the recent conflict, the fishermen are now facing the challenge of dwindling stocks as a result of both drought and the hydroelectric dams upstream.
Welcome to Mosul. This is empty fish. This is snake fish. The best fish, this is the best fish in the Iraq. This. His name is Shabut.
This is my lunch. Red rice is a Mosul speciality. And it's delicious.
This is Bashtabia Castle, or Bashtabia Citadel. It was part of the Mosul wall. It was built on during the 12th and 13th century. And it has been renovated and named during the Ottoman period, when the Ottoman Empire were ruling in here. And the castle was destroyed by ISIS on 2015. And I've been in there quite a few times, and there is a hole in the bottom of the castle which I could really smell blood in there. And I've been talking to someone around here that what's going on in there, and they were like, ISIS used to bring people in there, kill them and leave the dead bodies in there. They said that's why you could smell blood in there.
Ironically, perhaps, Saddam Hussein's mosque survived, leaving the city with the continuing problem of how to find the money to finish it.
So this is Jama' al-Kabir al-Mosul, or Jama' Saddam Hussein, the great mosque of Mosul, or the Saddam's mosque. They started building that mosque in 1985. They continued the work for 3-4 years until 1988, 1989, and until 1990, till the Battle of Iraq and Kuwait. They stopped for a while because of these conflicts, these wars in Iraq going on. Mosque stopped for a while. Till now, they're working on the mosque again. They start to continue their work. We still don't know what year they're gonna finish the mosque.
In the eastern suburbs of Mosul, surrounded by traffic-choked highways, you'll find the remains of what was once one of the great cities of Mesopotamia, Nineveh.
Nineveh is an ancient Assyrian city till the early 7th century. Was the largest city in the world, and that wall we see is the Great Wall of Nineveh. Now it's in the modern city of Mosul, and the length of the wall is 12 kilometers. It has few gates. This is one of the gates. Some part of the wall was destroyed by ISIS, and this wall was built in 700 BC during when the Assyrian Empire were here, and the gates were built in the 19th and 20th century. It has always been under reconstruction and renovation.
There is an expression in Arabic to describe the sensation of tasting freedom again after incarceration. It was used by a local Iraqi soldier who we spoke to off camera. He recounted how grateful the people were to be able to live and work in peace after the occupation. He said, "Now we can smell the fresh air."
The scars of war are still very evident in Mosul, particularly in the city centre, but there are clear signs of development, and life all over this city is returning to normal. What Mosul needs now is a period of sustained peace and prosperity. But this is Iraq, so nobody knows what's coming next.